Archangel Michael is crying tears of joy because you finally found this. A meeting was held in heaven just for you, and God has finally allowed it to be revealed only to you. Hurry, heaven's final decision will vanish in 45 seconds. Open this message immediately. This is not a coincidence. It is not an accident that you are seeing this now. This very moment was written into your life long before you even knew how to ask for help. Before your heart ever felt tired. Before the days ever grew heavy. Heaven waited for you. God waited for you. And now, Archangel Michael is rejoicing because you finally opened what your soul has been longing for. You did not stumble here by mistake, something greater guided you. Something divine placed this message in your path because heaven has been watching you quietly, closely, lovingly. If this speaks to your heart, comment Amen. Let heaven see your agreement. Archangel Michael is crying tears of joy because this is the moment everything starts to shift. This is the hour where what you were meant to find finds you back. God is no longer silent over your life. What was blocked is now being opened. What felt forgotten is now being remembered. What you cried about when no one was around, heaven heard every word, every sob, every whisper in the darkness. You never suffered unseen. And now, heaven's final decision has reached you. This message is not a warning. It is a door. A holy opening that will not stay unlocked forever. Heaven has waited patiently for your spirit to be ready, and now that it is, God has spoken the word, release. Release from every burden. Release from fear. Release from delay. That meeting in heaven, it was real. The angels gathered, the light of God covered your name, and the voice of the Almighty said, "It is time. Time to rise. Time to heal. Time to be free." You may feel like you're still in the valley, but the truth is, heaven is already pulling you up the mountain. What's ahead of you is not just better, it's divine. God's final decision over your life is breakthrough, protection, joy, clarity, and strength. But you must walk through the door while it's open. You must believe in this moment as much as heaven does. Please like this video if you feel the presence of God drawing you closer right now. Let that be your way of saying, "I receive." Your name was spoken in the meeting of heaven. Not quietly, not with hesitation, but with authority. Angels were assigned to you. And when Archangel Michael heard the Father say, "Go," he wept with joy because the battle you've been facing was never just yours. It was his too. He has been fighting for you even when you couldn't lift your head. He has been breaking barriers you didn't even know were standing in your way. And now, because you finally opened this, he is standing at your side, stronger than ever, guiding every step you take from here. This is not a normal moment. This is a spiritual appointment. This is heaven touching earth. This is where chains fall, tears turn into strength, and God's mercy pours out like rain over dry bones. Your weary soul is being refreshed right now. Not by chance, but by divine design. You are not late. You are right on time. Heaven's final decision over you is love. Not punishment. Not rejection. Not delay. Love so pure it shatters every lie spoken over your worth. Love so wide it stretches into your past and pulls every broken piece into healing. Love so holy it covers every mistake, every misstep, every moment of shame, and calls you chosen anyway. That's why Michael is crying. That's why the angels sang your name in the courts of heaven. Because God has declared, "You are mine." You've been through battles that nobody saw. You've held on through storms that tried to break you. But heaven saw. God never looked away. And now He is showing you the fruit of your endurance. This is what the meeting in heaven decided. That you will not only recover, but rise. That you will not only survive, but shine. That you will not only heal, but overflow. There is still power in your breath. There is still oil on your life. There is still purpose in your pain. And every single delay was not a denial, but a preparation for the magnitude of what's coming next. The heavenly decision has been sealed. What is released over you now cannot be taken back. God has opened the scrolls. Your name is on them. Your season has come. If you believe this is your word, comment 11:11. Let heaven witness your faith. There is a reason your spirit feels something stirring deep inside. The words you're reading are not just text. They are life. They are spirit. They are truth. Because the God who made you is speaking through every line, calling you home, calling you higher, calling you healed. The ache you've carried in your heart has not gone unnoticed. The silence you endured has not gone unrecorded. And now, God is not whispering. He is declaring it boldly. You are stepping into your answered prayer. Archangel Michael has seen every battle. He has stood in the invisible trenches, swinging the sword of God's glory over your life. That is why he is crying now. Because he knows what comes next. He knows the season of waiting is over. He knows your story is about to carry the kind of peace that passes understanding. The kind of joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. The kind of love that restores everything you thought was gone. He knows heaven is not debating your destiny anymore. The decision has already been made. You are walking into open doors that no one can shut. You are being lifted from heaviness into hope. You are being called by name into the fullness of who you were created to be. Why is the government hiding this 7-second brain ritual from the public? A leaked CIA document just exposed a brain technique so powerful, it's helping people cancel debt and call in wealth within days. Validated by 4 top neuroscience labs, this method is changing everything. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. For so long, you have walked with a quiet strength, unnoticed by the world but fully seen by heaven. You have pressed forward even when it felt like you were walking through shadows. And through it all, Archangel Michael stood guard. Not from afar, but close, closer than the breath in your lungs, carrying out the orders heaven gave to protect you, shield you, and clear the path ahead. His tears of joy are not just for the decision that was made, they are for your endurance, your hidden faith, your quiet prayers, your surrendered heart that refused to let go even when everything around you was shaking. This very moment is God's response to all that you carried when no one else understood. You were never invisible to Him. You were never forgotten. You were being preserved for this precise moment in time. What heaven has decided over you is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is not hanging by a thread. It is firm, sealed, and unshakable. When God speaks a word over your life, it doesn't just echo into your future, it rewrites everything that was meant to destroy you in the past. Every closed door was a setup for the door that now stands wide open. Every delay, every detour, every silence from above was leading to this ordained encounter. The tears you cried became incense in heaven. The pain you bore became soil for the promise to grow. And now, by divine decision, you are stepping into a season where what once burdened you will no longer have power to hold you down. Heaven has released the verdict: you are favored. If this touches your soul, comment 222. Let heaven see your trust. The spiritual atmosphere around you is changing. You may not see it yet with your eyes, but your spirit can feel it. The tension you've been living under is breaking. The heaviness that made it hard to even breathe some days is lifting. What was unclear is becoming clear. The answers you've longed for are being whispered into your heart, not as noise, but as peace. Not in chaos, but in stillness. God is not revealing this in a storm, He's revealing it in a whisper because you're finally close enough to hear Him again. Do not doubt this season. Do not question this holy shift. What is happening now was decided in a heavenly realm that cannot be touched by darkness. God didn't just send angels to protect you, He gave them charge to prepare the way. That meeting in heaven was not a suggestion. It was a command. A divine move initiated by the Creator Himself, saying, "It is now." The enemy cannot reverse what was decreed. No voice of fear, no voice of doubt, no voice from your past has authority here. Only God's voice reigns, and His voice has called you chosen. This is why Archangel Michael's tears are so pure, because they know what this means. It means freedom. It means the weight that's followed you is falling off. It means the silence you've endured is being shattered by the sound of heaven's celebration. It means you are no longer waiting for the battle to end, the battle is already won, and you are walking in the victory of that divine decision. The Spirit of God is not merely visiting you, He is resting upon you. You are being covered in mercy, clothed in strength, and crowned with the oil of gladness instead of mourning. The heavens have declared that your identity is not in your failure. It is not in your struggle. It is not in what you lost. It is in who God says you are. You are redeemed. You are restored. You are rising not by your might, but by His Spirit. When the decision in heaven was made, time on earth began to shift. You may not have felt it the moment it happened, but the signs began to unfold. The weight in your chest began to lift. The cloudiness in your thoughts began to clear. The feeling of isolation started to dissolve. All of it was heaven's response in motion. You are not alone in this. The very ground beneath you is being made holy as you walk forward in faith. There is a rhythm to God's timing, and now the rhythm is quickening. You are stepping into the fulfillment of what was promised, and the process has not been easy because the promise is heavy with purpose. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. Prepared to carry the oil, prepared to carry the anointing, prepared to walk with authority and not just survival. What once overwhelmed you will now become your testimony. What once threatened you will now bow to the power of God flowing through your life. Every delay was permission for God to build deeper roots in you. Every no was making space for the yes that would bring heaven's glory. Every closed road was leading you to a path that no man can block. You were not just waiting on a breakthrough. The breakthrough was waiting on you to reach this moment of readiness. And now, here you are. Heaven's gates open. Archangel Michael watching with joy. God's voice thundering, "It is time. The time to rise. The time to walk in freedom. The time to believe again, not just in what God can do, but in what He has already done. This is your hour, and nothing can reverse it. Every second that passes from the moment you open this is covered in acceleration. Things are going to move faster now. Not because you're rushing, but because God has decided it is time for the fruit of your waiting to come forth. You held your ground. You kept your posture of faith even when your hands were empty and your heart was heavy. Now God is responding to your endurance with overflow. If your spirit is still with this message, comment 333 to declare your faith. Can 7 seconds really change your bank account overnight? A CIA-funded study just leaked, revealing a brain ritual that's flipping lives from broke to blessed. 4 neuroscience labs confirm it activates powerful wealth attraction brainwaves. People are now stepping into dream homes and luxury lifestyles. But this breakthrough won't stay online for long. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. The reason this moment feels so different is because it is. It is not just a word of comfort, it is a spiritual transfer. A release of God's own hand into your situation. What was once too heavy to carry will now become light because God is not only lifting the weight, He is giving you new strength to walk. You are not going back to how things were before. That season is over. The meeting in heaven sealed that decision. You are being ushered into a chapter so full of God's presence that the former things will no longer have any hold on you. You don't have to explain yourself anymore. You don't have to fight for what God already declared as yours. You don't have to convince anyone that God is moving in your life. The evidence will speak for itself. The shift that is happening now will be undeniable. Doors will open not because you forced them, but because heaven has already unlocked them. Opportunities will arrive not because you begged for them, but because your name was spoken in places your feet haven't even walked into yet. The presence of God is covering you like a flood. It is filling the cracks where disappointment once lived. It is flowing through your spirit like fresh oil. And every place in you that felt dry, numb, forgotten, that's where His fire is falling first. God is not just restoring you, He is reviving you with purpose. You are not being returned to what once was. You are being lifted into what always was meant to be. This is a prophetic hour. This is a divine moment. This is not something you scroll past, forget, or dismiss. This is something you feel deep in your soul because heaven has marked it as sacred. You didn't come this far to be left halfway. You weren't carried through the shadows to be set down in silence. God is speaking now with clarity, and His message is simple: you are stepping into fulfillment. The enemy fought so hard to keep this moment from reaching you because he knew what it would unlock. He saw the spiritual signatures written across your life and tried to bury you in fear, delay, confusion, and loss. But what he didn't realize is that every weapon he used only drove you deeper into the arms of God. And now, because you did not let go, you are receiving what cannot be stolen. God has not forgotten even one detail of your journey. Every quiet prayer you whispered when you couldn't find the words. Every night you cried yourself to sleep while still believing. Every time you felt invisible but chose to keep walking in faith. All of it was seen. All of it was precious. All of it became the very incense that rose into heaven's throne room and moved the heart of the Father. And now, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the same God who parted seas, calmed storms, raised the dead, and delivered captives, is now leaning over your life with a word that changes everything. That word is now. Now, not later. Now, not someday. Now, not eventually. God is saying, now is the time I show them why they had to wait. Now is the moment I make it clear why the battle had to be this long. Now is the hour when the heavens open and favor flows like a river that will not dry up. What you are stepping into has no precedent in your life. It is not a repeat. It is not a recycled blessing. It is original. It is authored by God Himself. The reason it took time is because it was being prepared in a way that only heaven could do. The kind of favor being released over you doesn't come through force. It comes through fire. And you, beloved, have walked through fire and did not burn. This is why heaven celebrated. This is why Archangel Michael cried tears of joy. Because what was meant to break you has become the very soil that your promise will grow from. You are not stepping into ease, you are stepping into authority. You are not stepping into comfort, you are stepping into calling. What comes next will carry the mark of heaven so clearly that no one will be able to deny that God's hand is upon you. There is power stirring in the atmosphere around you right now. You may feel it like a hum in your chest, like a warmth in your spirit, like a gentle pull on your soul. That is the presence of the Holy Spirit confirming that everything spoken over you is real and active. The season of survival is ending. The season of sacred release is beginning. Heaven's final decision was not just for you to receive a breakthrough. It was for you to become a vessel of light in a dark world. The favor coming upon you is not for status, fame, or attention, it is for impact. Your voice will carry new weight. Your prayers will carry new power. Your presence will carry peace because God Himself is dwelling in you with greater fullness than ever before. You were chosen for this. You were trusted with the battle so you could be trusted with the blessing. You were hidden for a season so you could be revealed in the right time. And now that time is here. This isn't just another moment. This is heaven's yes being planted into the soil of your obedience. It is the answer to the prayers you thought were lost. It is the touch of God reaching into your life with a power so personal, so pure, and so full of love that words could never explain it fully. Archangel Michael has not left your side. He never did. And in this moment, his presence stands taller, brighter, stronger than ever, because he knows what has just been released. He weeps not out of sorrow, but because he has watched over you in silence for so long, carrying out heaven's assignments in the background while you fought in the natural. Now, he sees the glory of God breaking forth over your life, and even the angels rejoice when someone walks into their appointed time. If this stirs your spirit, comment 555 and let heaven see you're ready for what's next. Could this 7-second CIA brainwave trick be your fastest ticket to luxury? Recently leaked research shows a simple brain ritual that's allowing people to attract wealth effortlessly. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, this technique is transforming debt into abundance, instantly. Homes, cars, and vacations are just the beginning. If you're seeing this now, you're very lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. This is not a message for your emotions alone. This is a move for your soul. God is not offering you a temporary peace. He is not handing you a small moment of relief. He is giving you a complete shift, one that touches every part of your life. The deep disappointments, the hidden pain, the long questions that went unanswered, all of it is now being met with divine clarity. The veil has been lifted, and heaven's light is now shining where confusion once lived. What you are walking into is not the result of chance. It is the unfolding of divine strategy. Every delay had design. Every silence had substance. Every no had a higher yes behind it. You were not overlooked. You were being refined. You were not left out. You were being reserved. God didn't forget you. He was preparing everything around you so that when the moment came, it would not be wasted. You are not here to merely survive. You are here to step into divine authority. The pain you walked through trained your hands for purpose. The tears you cried watered the seeds of your anointing. The loneliness you endured created the space where God could speak without interruption. You have been in a long season of stripping, but it was not to destroy you, it was to protect what He placed inside you. And now that the season has shifted, so has your position. You're no longer on the edge, hoping for scraps of grace. You are standing in the center of the Father's promise, where rivers of mercy are flowing freely over your life. This is not only about receiving favor. It's about becoming who God always intended you to be before the world tried to name you by your wounds. You are not your trauma. You are not your mistakes. You are not your weakness. You are God's. And heaven has declared your name with joy. The angels didn't just attend that meeting in heaven. They celebrated. They praised. They sang, because when God's glory touches a life like yours, when restoration begins to rise after so much brokenness, the entire kingdom rejoices. The weight you felt lifting recently is no accident. It's the evidence of heaven intervening. The restlessness you've been feeling has not been confusion, it's been transition. God has been pulling you from what was into what is, and now the time has come to walk boldly. This is not the hour to hesitate. This is not the hour to second-guess what God is doing. The heavens have already spoken. The decision is final. You are chosen. The fear that lingered in the back of your mind is breaking. The doubts that echoed in your heart are being silenced. You are not walking alone. You are walking with angels assigned to your every step, and the God who never lies is lighting your path. God is not just bringing you through something, He's bringing you into something. A new dimension of His presence. A new depth of understanding. A new awareness of your identity in Him. This is the moment where you stop shrinking. This is the moment where you stop apologizing for surviving. You didn't just make it through, you are rising with power. What tried to kill your spirit is now going to witness your spiritual rebirth. The wind of God is behind you now, and where there was once resistance, now there is release. Where there was once confusion, now there is clarity. You are no longer carrying this by yourself. God is carrying it with you. Every room you enter, His presence is going before you. Every word you speak, His breath is behind it. Every plan you step into, His Spirit is laying the foundation. Archangel Michael's sword has not just defended you, it has made way for the light to break in. Heaven's decision was not small. It was final, eternal, and full of divine intent. You will not go back to the way things were. You cannot. The shift has already happened. The oil has already been poured. The seal has already been pressed. You are walking in a new level of grace, and it will be obvious to everyone who sees you. Do not measure what is coming by what you have seen before. God is not repeating a previous blessing. He is doing a new thing. A holy thing. A life-changing thing. And it is being done in you. This isn't a reset. This is a resurrection. The version of you that was waiting is being left behind. What rises now is someone clothed in divine strength, wrapped in mercy, and filled with purpose. Stay close to the voice of God. Stay open to His direction. The days ahead will carry new instructions, and they may not make sense at first, but trust the one who leads. His voice is gentle, but His plan is mighty. You are not being guided by feeling, you are being guided by divine order. What looked like wandering was really God mapping out the precise coordinates to lead you into destiny. You may feel like everything is quiet, like the noise has faded, but this is not silence. This is the stillness that comes just before God moves visibly. Heaven does not shout when it works wonders, it surrounds you gently, fills your heart with peace, and then starts making things move around you without warning. That's the season you've stepped into. The movement won't always be loud, but it will be real. You're not stuck. You're not forgotten. You are being carefully positioned for something greater than you imagined. If you know you've stepped into something holy, comment 1212. Let the Spirit of God see your faith still alive. What's the buzz behind the 7-second brain trick making headlines? A recently leaked CIA brain ritual is turning heads, and bank balances. Backed by 4 neuroscience labs, this simple home method is turning money blocks into unstoppable wealth flow. Homes, cars, and cash are flooding in. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. Archangel Michael still stands near you. His wings have not folded, and his sword has not been sheathed. His tears of joy are still fresh because what heaven has begun in your life is still unfolding. The reason you feel the stirring in your chest, the tremble in your heart, is because the atmosphere around you has been filled with angelic activity. The things you prayed for are no longer stuck behind spiritual walls, they are being carried directly into your life. There are blessings coming that your hands didn't even know to ask for. There are doors opening that were sealed for years. There are relationships being healed without any effort of your own. Not because you're striving, but because God has decided it is time. Not because you pushed for it, but because the decision was already made in heaven's courts and no voice of doubt can undo it. This is why your journey felt heavier than others. This is why the warfare was thicker, the delays longer, and the silence deeper. Because your calling was not common. What you carry is not light. The mantle resting upon you now was forged in the fire of endurance, and now that you've arrived at this moment, you are no longer the same. The version of you that cried out to God in the dark is not the same version that now walks in His light. The shift happened not when you saw it, but when God said it. And God already said it is done. The enemy lost the battle before it even began because God never placed your breakthrough in anyone else's hands. He held it Himself. He guarded it until the time was right. And now, because you kept walking, you're about to see the fullness of what was waiting behind every closed door. Every area of your life that looked like loss is now being touched by heaven's restoration. You thought some things were over. You accepted certain endings. But God is not finished writing. What you thought was gone is not gone. It's being rewritten into something greater, something holy, something that gives Him glory through your healing. You're not being lifted to show off. You're being lifted to show God's faithfulness. Everything that tried to bury you will now have to watch you bloom. And it won't happen in pride. It won't happen in arrogance. It will happen in quiet grace, in peace that makes no sense, in favor that doesn't need explanation. God is surrounding you with divine alignment. People you've never met will be drawn to your light. Rooms you never expected to enter will open at the right time. The favor coming upon your name will have no worldly logic because it was never designed by this world. It was designed in heaven, by a God who knew your heart before anyone ever saw your pain. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being pieced back together in a way that reveals more beauty than before. The cracks in your soul are not weaknesses, they are where God's light will shine through. And the ones who once overlooked you will be the ones who recognize the glory of God surrounding you in this new season. Heaven's final decision has already undone the grip of fear. What once whispered lies in your ear now flees at the sound of God's voice. You are no longer battling to survive, you are being lifted to reign in peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from comfort, but the kind of peace that comes from knowing that nothing and no one can take what God has given. There is a reason the atmosphere has felt so intense. It's because the spiritual realm is making room for what's about to manifest in your life. The weight you felt is the tension of transition. But now, the tension is breaking, and in its place comes flow. Flow of blessings, flow of joy, flow of healing. God is restoring the joy that trials tried to take. He is refreshing the parts of you that became numb just to survive. And in this hour, your name is still echoing in heaven. The angels are not just celebrating one moment, they are celebrating the entire season you've entered. This is your anointed time. You will walk into places prepared just for you. You will receive provision that was hidden until now. You will see prayers answered not slowly, but suddenly. You don't have to figure out every step. You don't have to force anything into place. What belongs to you in this season will find you. It will recognize your obedience. It will honor your faith. You only need to keep walking in trust, stay open to God's direction, and refuse to let fear define your future. The decision was made in love. It was sealed in mercy. And now it is being released with joy. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to prove anything. Just rest in the truth that what heaven releases, no man can stop. God's voice has already declared your name in heaven, and Archangel Michael is standing guard over what is being born from this sacred encounter. You are not stepping into random days. You are entering a divine timeline where everything that seemed to be scattered begins to align. There is no chaos in God's plan. Every twist in your story had its reason. And though it broke you at times, heaven never left your side. If your heart receives this, comment 777. Let God know you are listening. The Spirit of God is rebuilding you from the inside out. He is touching the places no one else can see, the silent wounds, the hidden fears, the private battles. This healing is not just emotional. It is holy. It is God shaping your spirit to carry something heavier than before, not in weight, but in worth. You are not who you used to be. You have been changed in the fire, and now that the flames have settled, what is left is not ashes, but gold. What if just 7 seconds could flip your entire financial life? A shocking CIA leak has revealed a powerful brain ritual that's helping ordinary people wipe out debt and attract wealth beyond imagination. Backed by 4 cutting-edge neuroscience labs, this at-home breakthrough is turning everyday lives into dreams, luxury cars, beautiful homes, endless vacations. But this secret may vanish soon. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. Everything around you is being reordered. What felt like confusion was really construction. What felt like delay was heaven setting the foundation for a greater purpose. The reason things didn't happen when you begged for them is because God wanted you to receive them when your heart was whole enough to carry them well. He wasn't punishing you, He was protecting what was meant for you. The final decision made in heaven did not just confirm your blessing, it also marked the end of striving. You no longer have to chase what God has already assigned to your life. You don't need to compete, perform, or beg. What is for you cannot miss you. The door that opens next will not need to be kicked in. It will swing wide with peace. And when you walk through it, there will be no fear, only the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that God went before you. This next part of your life is not about proving anything. It's about living from a place of rest. Not rest in doing nothing, but rest in trusting completely. Heaven has heard every silent cry. The cries you whispered late at night when your body was tired and your heart even more so. The cries no one saw, no one comforted, no one even knew about. God saw. God knew. And God remembered. Archangel Michael weeps with joy not only because your breakthrough is here, but because your breakthrough has meaning far beyond your own life. The light rising in you will touch others. The healing you receive will become healing for others. The peace surrounding you now will become a river that flows through every room you enter. You are not just receiving a miracle, you are becoming a living testimony of what happens when someone holds on through the dark. The anointing on your life is not ordinary. That's why the fight was so fierce. That's why the enemy tried so hard to convince you that you were forgotten. Because he knew what was coming. He saw the glory forming in the shadows. He saw the strength rising in your spirit. He knew that if you ever found your way to this moment, he would have no more power over your life. And he was right. Because you're here now. And heaven has spoken. You are not the same. You are stronger. Wiser. Softer in spirit, but sharper in discernment. You've been taught by pain, but now you will be led by peace. The things that once triggered fear in you will now trigger praise. Because you will recognize the pattern. You will see how every heartbreak carried a deeper grace. How every loss made room for a bigger blessing. How every ending was really a beginning in disguise. The presence of God is covering you like a gentle cloud. It will go with you when you're alone. It will go with you into the crowded rooms. It will sit beside you in silence and walk with you in celebration. You will not be moved by the noise anymore. You will be grounded in the voice of the one who made you. And he is not done speaking over you. The favor being released over your life in this season is generational. It is not only for you. It is for your children, and their children, and every life connected to yours. The decision made in heaven was not small. It was eternal. And it's unfolding now, moment by moment, in ways that will leave you speechless. What seemed impossible last season will suddenly become normal. What once took years to heal will now be restored in days. God is not blessing you just to comfort you. He is blessing you to launch you into purpose, into influence, into deeper intimacy with Him, into a season where you no longer second-guess the voice of God in your life. You will begin to speak differently. You will walk differently. Not because of pride, but because of presence. His presence will mark you. And that will be all the confirmation you need. Do not shrink back now. Do not second-guess what you feel stirring. This is not hype. This is holy. This is not coincidence. This is the clarity you have been praying for. Your spirit recognizes it because it came from the same God who formed you in your mother's womb. You are hearing heaven speak, and it's calling you forward. You are being crowned with peace. Not the kind that fades, but the kind that stays. The kind that wraps itself around your heart and holds you steady when the world starts to shake. You are walking in that now. You are covered, protected, loved beyond measure. The meeting that took place in heaven wasn't filled with questions. It was filled with declarations. When God spoke your name, it was with full knowledge of what you've endured, what you've survived, what almost took you out. And still, his voice did not tremble. He said, "It is time." He looked at the scars that you've carried so long in silence, and he did not flinch. He called you chosen, anyway. And what he called you then, he still calls you now. If this speaks to your heart, comment 999. Let heaven hear your agreement. There is something holy about the way God restores. He never puts you back the way you were. He doesn't rewind you to who you used to be. He makes all things new. He turns your ashes into beauty. He takes the shame and wraps it in grace. He removes the labels others tried to attach to you and gives you a name that carries the power of His love. That is the transformation you are standing in right now. The old is gone. The old patterns, the old fear, the old way of thinking, it no longer fits who you are. You have outgrown the shell of sorrow, and the Spirit of God is breathing fresh identity into you. You will no longer respond out of trauma. You will respond from trust. You will no longer live in defense. You will live in divine direction. Your instincts will change. Your atmosphere will change. Your entire path has already been touched by God's hand. Could this hidden CIA brain ritual be the real reason people are suddenly rich? A secret CIA discovery has just leaked, revealing a brain hack that's pulling wealth into people's lives effortlessly. It only takes 7 seconds, it's done at home, and it's backed by 4 neuroscience labs. Debt is vanishing, luxury is becoming normal. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky, the page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. Heaven's final decision didn't only release a blessing, it released clarity. The confusion that tried to cloud your mind is breaking now. The lies you believed about your worth are being silenced. The darkness that tried to cling to you is losing its grip. You are being renewed in your mind, in your heart, and in your ability to see who you really are. You are not a mistake. You are not a burden. You are not too late, too broken, too far gone. You are right on time, chosen on purpose, and handpicked by the one who makes no errors. And even when you couldn't see what He was doing, He was never inactive. He was weaving together every detail of your life to prepare you for this hour. You didn't miss anything. What's meant for you is arriving now. You are not just stepping into a season, you're stepping into identity. God is reminding you of who you are in Him. You are not what others called you. You are not what failure said about you. You are not what your past reflects. You are who God says you are. And He calls you worthy, beloved, and strong. Not because you've done everything right, but because His love is not based on perfection. It is based on promise. And that promise is alive right now. It's moving around you like the wind. You can't see it all, but you can feel it. That's the presence of something holy. That's the evidence that the meeting in heaven was not symbolic. It was specific. It was strategic. And every moment since that meeting has been aligning to bring you to this very place. You have carried so much, for so long. Pain, disappointment, confusion. There were days it felt like no one truly saw you. You smiled through storms. You held others up while quietly falling apart. But heaven saw every part of it. Heaven kept record not to shame you, but to reward you. God does not forget the faithfulness you showed in silence. He does not ignore the endurance you walked in while no one was clapping for you. You are being honored now. Not by people, but by heaven itself. There's a gentleness in this next chapter. You will not have to fight the same way. What once drained you will no longer have access to your peace. God is placing a new kind of boundary around your life, a spiritual covering that will guard you from the inside out. You're going to notice it. Certain things will no longer affect you the same way. Certain voices will grow quieter. Certain battles will no longer make it to your doorstep. You're not walking into this next part of your journey with empty hands. You're carrying wisdom. You're carrying authority. You're carrying favor that was stored up for such a time as this. The prayers that were once delayed are now being answered suddenly. And not because you forced it, but because heaven released it. Everything is under God's timing, and now the timing has turned in your favor. Expect alignment. Expect peace. Expect moments where it all starts to make sense. Expect unexpected blessings, not because you're chasing them, but because they're chasing you. Favor is attracted to obedience. And you remained faithful, even when you didn't feel seen. The angels have been assigned. Archangel Michael has not left your side. His tears of joy are not just for what you found, they are for what you've become. Stronger, softer, wiser. Ready. Ready to step into rooms with courage. Ready to walk through doors with boldness. Ready to speak when God tells you to speak, and rest when He tells you to rest. This is your time. This is your moment. This is not hype, it's holy. Stay in this space with God. Let Him keep speaking. Let Him keep leading. Let Him keep building what only He can build. Heaven's final decision was not just to bless you, it was to reveal you. To uncover the real you. The you that has been buried under the weight of past pain, under the noise of false identities, under the expectations of others. The real you that God always saw, always cherished, always loved without condition. This is the version of you that will step forward now. Not broken. Not forgotten. But healed, whole, and crowned in glory. If this reaches into your spirit, comment 1010. Let this be a sign between you and God that you receive. There is no going back to who you used to be. That chapter has closed with grace. That pain has released its hold. That shame has lost its grip. You are standing in a moment that shifts the atmosphere of your entire life. You are no longer operating in survival. You are moving with sacred authority. The angels have already surrounded the path ahead of you, and there is peace where there used to be fear. Archangel Michael rejoices because he knows how long you've waited. He knows the battles you endured while others looked away. He knows the nights you sat in silence, wondering if heaven would ever answer. And now, all of heaven sings over you. Not just for what you will receive, but for who you have become in the waiting. You never stopped believing. Even when you were tired. Even when you were afraid. Even when the answers didn't come, you kept believing. And now, the windows of heaven are open. There is movement in the Spirit that will soon touch your reality. Things that have been hidden are coming to light. Things that have been locked are being released. Doors that once shut with no explanation are now swinging wide open, not because of who you know, not because of effort, but because of favor. Real, divine favor. The kind that makes no sense to those around you, but feels like home to your spirit. Why is this 7-second brain ritual suddenly going viral? Leaked CIA files have exposed a hidden brainwave technique that opens the floodgates to wealth. Verified by 4 top labs, this ritual is turning financial pain into prosperity, fast. From massive bills to luxury trips, it's changing lives. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. God's favor doesn't always come with loud announcements. Sometimes it enters with stillness, like a river quietly filling every dry space. That is what's happening now. You may not see it all at once, but you will feel it. The weight lifting. The air shifting. The sense that something has finally broken open. Because it has. The heavens held a meeting just for you, and when your name was spoken, things began to move on your behalf that no human hand could touch. You're stepping into a season where the right doors open without force. Where the right people show up without striving. Where the answers come not from chasing, but from abiding. Abiding in God's love, in His promises, in the stillness of knowing that He is for you. And if God is for you, nothing can stand against what He has declared over your life. Every tear you cried has been gathered. Every prayer you whispered in exhaustion has been heard. Nothing was wasted. Nothing went unnoticed. God does not forget faithfulness. He honors it in ways that will leave you speechless. And you, beloved, are stepping into a harvest that was watered by your endurance.